Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and here is today's comic. Batman Curse of the White Knight, Book 3. It's not issue 3, it's Book 3. A true Black Label book, a book that's deserving of that label. If anyone has been watching my videos in the past, you know that the original White Knight is what got me to come back actively into comics and start being a weekly collector again. I'd stayed away from comics for, I'd say, about 20 years. And I guess staying away is not the right word. I just stopped being a collector. I still cared about comics. I like comics. I even, picked up some things here and there. Of course, I followed all the movies. I've always been big into nerd culture, but I dived more into kind of being a film, I don't want to say a film buff, a film enthusiast. My money, as far as my hobby went to, I got into gaming and hobby board gaming and different things. But somehow in 2017, I found my way back into the culture war. Well, not back into the culture war. I found the culture war, found some good people. They sparked my interest to get into, look more into what's going on in comics. This original book came out, and I was like, I gotta try this. And here I am today. Now I'm making videos. So this is the third book of Curse of the White Knight. If you are not getting this book, is it because you hate Batman? Because if you like Batman, then you should be getting this book. This is the original White Knight, in my opinion, goes down as one of the greatest Batman comics I've ever had the pleasure of reading. I said this when I was originally discovering comics, and the reason I got back into Sean Gordon Murphy, or Sean Murphy as he likes to go. I like the Sean Gordon Murphy. It has more of a ring to it. Is the most exciting comic book creator, in my opinion, since Frank Miller kind of made his stamp in the 80s, and people were just freaking out, who is this guy? He's one of those rare mixes that is equally good as a writer as he is as an artist. And he's, as you can see, a fantastic artist. Let's get into the book. So if you've been following the story, and please, hopefully you have, please don't use my channel. As much as I appreciate to get views and stuff, I don't want to be the spoiler channel, right? You got Comicstorian and Comics Explained doing stuff like that for you. And, I'm going to end up doing that for you as well. And to be truthful, those two channels are kind of my excuse of why to avoid this. My thought is, if you want to spoil the book, there's already people doing it. I'm not really providing something that isn't there, right? If there weren't spoilers out there to the book, I think I would really refrain from doing my vids this way, because, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. So I might as well make my video and just hope that people aren't ruining the book for themselves. Because honestly, I want you to enjoy. I want you to have the experience that I'm having. So we open up with this phenomenal page. Anyways, where I was getting into, where we last left off was Azrael and his team of whatever guys blew up the Batcave and Wayne Manor, and Batman managed to get the Batmobile, which he used Mad Hatter to sort of hack all of Batman's stuff. And was it Mad Hatter? I think it was Mad Hatter. I might be mixing stuff up in my head. I get a little ditzy sometimes in my old age. That being said, the Batmobile was hacked. Bruce managed to disengage or disconnect it from the network so he could retake control of it, and he managed to get away just in time. But during the escape, he went off a cliff or somewhere and into the water, and you can see the Batmobile all trashed here. And here's Batman getting away. And we get the nice 2-page splash. Batman Curse of the White Knight. This is beautiful. I love this art. I love Sean Murphy's rendition of Azrael. Man. And one of the things, in addition to just having a great Batman story, one of the things I love about what Sean Murphy's doing in his quote-unquote Murphyverse is he's taking characters that either I like already or I was kind of on, and he's turning them awesome. This Joker, his version of the Joker is my favorite Joker. I know a lot of people are going to balk at that because Joker is such an iconic character, and there's been many versions of the Joker, and I understand if this isn't your favorite, but Azrael was always kind of a waste to me. I thought he was a cool concept, and I always wanted him to be cooler than he was. But here, I love him. The best character, though, is, I'm forgetting, Duke Thomas, the guy who is the Signal. I hate the Signal. I think it's a stupid, shoehorned, half-ass, wannabe Robin character. But Duke Thomas in this book is more of like a Luke Cage type character, and he's a character I really he's even cooler than Luke Cage. He's just like, oh damn, this is a guy that I buy being a Bat family type character. Anyways, enough on doing all this stuff. So we see Batman surface. There. Is he okay? I got him. Get us out of here. Splash, splash, splash. Sorry to blow your cover, Bruce, but there was no way to rescue you without telling them. And then here we got the Gotham Terror Oppression Unit, the GTO. Oh, man, it's such a crazy name. I think this is a Chinook helicopter. It's just amazing. Like, the police would have a Chinook. Like, this is like a heavy lifting helicopter. But it's cool. Sean knows his vehicles, and I just love... You don't think about that. At least I don't in comic books. I don't think about vehicles. Most comic artists, they're great at drawing like the human anatomy, like the human body and looking cool. But so many of them cannot draw machinery to save their life. Holy crap. Some of them are just terrible at drawing, like especially just cars or planes, or sometimes when they do made up stuff, they can do well. But when it comes to drawing like a realistic looking thing, so many of them. But Sean Murphy is so good at drawing vehicles, cars, helicopters like this, that it's just like, oh, it takes center stage in the frame. Look at this. I mean, the people are just little thumbnails down there, but this copter, I just love looking at it. Then we see Bullock. Bruce Wayne? Jesus, you gotta be kidding me. And then we see Bruce riding up in the cockpit with the pilot. And just look at this cockpit. I don't know. There's something about like the attention to detail. And this makes me reminisce of Apocalypse Now. It's like walk, 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 walk. The copter's coming away, and the orange hues of the background of fire. I plan on telling the rest of you the truth about Batman, but not like this. I know. Believe me, I know. But this is a good thing. If we're going to track this guy down, we need to know everything he and the Joker know. I only caught a glimpse of him. Strange mask, red cloak, big sword. He used Hatter to hack into the security system, and then he turned the entire Batcave against me. I was able to regain control of the Batmobile right before he detonated the entire mansion, so I already explained all this. So he's talking to his guys. You got Nightwing here, front and center. And we got Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, and then there's Duke Thomas. And in the first White Knight, it explains why they're part of the GTO. One of the concepts was that if these guys are going to be, if they're going to be vigilantes, they need to be working with the police. It has to be on, by the book. It has to be, it can't be this sort of underground illegal thing. And everyone agrees but Batman. So that's why they're doing it. Now, when you approach Sean Murphy's book, whether White Knight or this book, and you really should read White Knight before you read this. This is a true sequel. It continues on the story. When you approach it, you have to understand that this is Murphy's own vision of Batman. This is sort of Sean Murphy saying, if I did Batman, this is how I would do it. He's not at all trying to do what a typical comic book writer is supposed to do, which is stay true to the character, keep to the continuity, all this. Murphy is working in his own world. He's doing very much what Christopher Nolan did in his Batman films. He's like, look, I understand these characters. I'm going to do my take. And when you go in with that attitude and not go, well, this has to fit the Batman that I know. If you're too rigid like that, you're probably not going to allow yourself to enjoy this. Just allow this to be an Elseworlds story with his own take on Batman, his own additions to the mythology, which I think are fantastic. Honestly, this is so good. I want this to be the ongoing mythology. I don't want it to be, it's better than what's going on in the main comics. So they're all talking about, Bruce is talking about the clues that he found and how this dates back to the founding of Gotham and how his ancestor, Edmund Wayne, I'm losing my train of thought. How Edmund Wayne came to America to secure his land that had been stolen from him, yada, yada, yada. And so they're all planning on how to deal with this. And Batman then goes to Harley Quinn. Come on, dogs. If you hear that little clicky clacky, that's the dogs walking around. And now, if I'm silent, you can probably hear him drinking. And if you've seen my live or my camera videos, you know the dogs. I can't show them when I'm doing this. And I apologize. They're distracting me. I'm sitting here trying to lose my train of thought. I'm not trying to lose my train of thought. You know what I mean. So Batman visits Harley Quinn because Jack Napier, a.k.a. the Joker, is in on this. And he's trying to get some information. And he wants to help her because she's pregnant. And there's an interesting scene here where she's just trying to build a crib. And she needs a screwdriver and stuff. And Batman shows up. It's just and then Batman starts building the crib. It's what's so weird. Just to oh, hey, there's Batman in my living room building a crib for me. But he explains some things to her. And this version of Harley Quinn is not the complete lunatic. This is a much more believable Harley Quinn. She's crazy. She's lost it. She did fall for the Joker. But she's still kind of there too, right? It's not like comic book crazy. This feels more like realistic crazy. And so she's off on her own now. I love that she has two what you call it? Not jackals. I guess they're hyenas as dogs. It just makes sense. And Batman explains that he's an orphan to her, and she's just not sure if she should trust him. But then Batman reveals his identity. He's like, I need you to trust me. And she's like, what? I just love this shot here. This is really good. Look at her face. Meanwhile, we go back to the Gotham GTO headquarters, and Joker's laughing. Wow, well done, Batman. Sorry I missed the barbecue. Who is he? He's my knight. The elites are my pawns, and Ruth is my queen. Check your move. This is your big plan? Get some pyromaniac to replace me? Patience, Batsy. This is just a setup. There's a lot you don't know. I know more than you think I do. Pretty sure you don't. Flip. He just flips him off. He's scratching his chin. Lafayette, Arkham. And then all of a sudden Joker snaps. What? You see the expression on his face. Nothing to say. That's right. We found the body thanks to the help of Jack Napier. And Joker hates Jack Napier. Napier! He told me you discovered the Joker there. All these years I thought you were the worst villain the city had ever seen, but you're just a cheap knockoff. And he's just getting under his skin, but then Joker kind of gets it together. Well, I suppose a great performer shouldn't be ashamed to admit his influences. Napier accidentally found Laffy when he was trying to dig out his old cell. He also found all of his secrets. And that's when the Joker was created. So in the Murphyverse, we have an origin of Joker. I am very much of the opinion in the ongoing normal continuity, Joker is best served as a character of chaos, and his origin should never be revealed. But for this storyline, for this kind of closed Batman universe, just like the Nolan films, I'm okay with this being the storyline. It works for this. So Laffy discovers some things, and this is all part of his motivation. And Joker talks about that this is giving him his big final joke that he's going to give to Gotham, and he can't wait. Batman's trying to get it out of him, and he can't, so he brings in Harley. Oh, this will be good. Jack, I know you're in there. I need to speak to you. Oh, Lord. Can't you take a hint? It's over. I tell you, damaged girls might be great in the sack, but they're always so clingy. Part of Sean Gordon Murphy's influences, and he talked about this in the original White Knight, was that he envisioned this taking place in the Batman animated series universe. I think since then he's kind of molded it into his own, but you can kind of see that the Joker character, at least for me, he sounds like that same kind of Joker. Harley is sort of, I mean, she's a little bit different. She's more realistic, as I pointed out, but I like that. We come to, So let me not get ahead of myself. Joker, of course, knows how to get under Harley's skin, and he calls her weak and unlovable, and victimhood is your superpower. And Batman's like, you son of a... Stop! He's called me worse. I've got this. Joker's just laughing. Oh, that's quite a bump pudding. Now things are getting interesting. I'm guessing twins? And the great thing I love about Joker is that you can't get to him, right? You can sit there and interrogate him, and Batman can pummel him, and he gets under Batman's skin. You just can't. Do you think you can outsmart him? I mean, you can outplay him, and you can outsmart him, but you can't really. You can't outsmart him in a battle of wits, because he's not playing fair. He's just a lunatic. 100% of the way through, and the things you say won't faze him. And while the rest of us, the same people, you can, like Batman, for example, will have things get under his skin, so that he can never win. And I love that. And eventually he even gets under Harley's skin, and she's just eventually like, when she's like, I got this, and she's like, you son of a, because she talks about using if Batman has a coat hanger in his utility belt, and it's just like, Jesus, talk about like non-PC abortion issue stuff. But Sean Murphy is just here to tell a good story. And then we get this great 2-page shot here. Look at the detail of all these Arkham inmates. They're being escorted away. They're going to empty out Arkham because they feel it's compromised. So there's some great stuff here. I love these vehicles. Look at this frame in particular. I love that Sean uses a mixture of realistic looking vehicles, but then also sort of like imagined vehicles that would fit in this imaginary world of the DC universe of Gotham. Just so cool. And then Batman's like, are you okay to go for a walk? And he's talking to Harley, and they go in the, now Arkham's been emptied. And so he's going to, explore it and try to find the clues that he's looking for. And now Harley starts hitting on him. And she's like, come on, admit it. We had a rocky start, but over the years, you and I have become buddies. Remember that dress you bought me? The one you won't let me forget about? It fit perfectly, which means you knew my bra size. I'm a detective. Sure, that's it. So there's some nice little banter here that I thought was kind of funny and charming. I like Harley hitting on Batman, and he's just kind of awkward, like, what do I do with this girl? And it adds that moment of levity, because that Batman runs the risk sometimes of just being too dark, right? And you're just like, whoa, it's just too grim. But you can't fix that by having Batman be funny, right? I've seen bad writers do Batman making jokes or trying to be witty or whatever. Bendis. Sorry. Sorry, I had something in my throat. Batman is always the stoic character, and he can be funny by having the stoic, straight face. He always plays it straight, and a good comedic writer can play off of that as comedy, but he should never just be goofy or witty, he's not Spider-Man, if that's what I'm trying to get at. So they get to the original spot that Napier found the original writing on the wall that he erased, so we don't know what it was, and the mystery is deepening. And Harley kind of says something to him that makes Batman think. She says, "This might be hard for you to accept, but you ever consider that maybe Edmund killed Bakar?" Now, Bakar was the guy that was part of the Order of St. Dumas that came overseas with Edmund, and they were supposed to split Gotham 50-50 in order for his help. And Batman's going off the premise that Bakar betrayed his, because Edmund is his ancestor. And Harley's like, well, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the Waynes aren't all that great. And so it makes Batman start thinking. He pulls out this little X-ray device, and he says, "You're right. There's another body." And then we get to, "I've decided to step down as commissioner. I don't want that to hurt the department with any bad PR over this Barber thing. So I've talked it over with Suits, and we all agree that the new commissioner should be you." So it's Montoya is becoming the new commissioner, and they explain why she should get the job. And there's some kind of cool little cop bonding moments here. I'm assuming it's just their regular hangout bar, cop bar. And Sean Murphy put some dialogue in here that would be controversial in today's day and age. And I'm just wondering, when the progressive wackos are going to start calling him on it, because Montoya is a lesbian. Here we see Bullock talking about, perfect for a Puerto Rico lesbian, and she's like, "Here it comes." And he's like, "Open a food truck called the Pink Taco," and she splashes in his face. And here we see Duke Thomas is laughing. He's like, "Ha ha ha, that's a funny joke," And she's like, "You're an asshole, Bullock," but she's got a smile on her face. "Yeah, but you still love me." And here, look at, no one's offended. Nobody's offended. Right? It's just normal. It's just friends joking with each other the way normal people joke with each other. So I'm not going to harp on that. But if you start seeing later down the road and people freaking out, remember what I talked about. So we see Gordon outside lighting up a cigarette. Oh, that's another no-no in modern comics. "Oh, I was hoping I'd run into you, Batman." And so we see Batman sitting in the shadows as a typical Batman. "Listen, sorry I blew up at you over Barbara. It's just that she's all I have. I guess I was trying to convince myself that it wasn't her decision to become Batgirl, that it was yours." And so he kind of confesses, "I'm sorry that, I realize she's going to do what she's going to do. It's not your fault." And he kind of just offers his hand, peace offering, deal. And then you realize, oh, that's not Batman at all. That's Azrael. And then we cut over back to Batman over at Arkham. And they're excavating a skeleton. And then Harley goes into labor. And she's like, Tell me you got bat strength painkillers in your belt." "It's not a good idea. We don't know how safe." "Give me that drugs." "Harley, try to relax now, or I swear to God I'll make you fight a pregnant woman." It is Batman's face. I don't know why I found that comedic. But again, it's just a couple of panels to kind of add some levity. And this is important because of the tone of where this story goes. And there's some dark moments here. And we cut over to the dark moments. And then Commissioner Gordon gets thrown. Thud. Starts to pull out his gun. Azrael deftly knocks it away. Commissioner Gordon fires. And then you hear bang, bang, bang. This panel's a little off. I got to critique Sean a little bit. This is not good panel layouts. Because I originally went from this Gordon panel to the cops coming out and Bullock shouting Jim. But I should have gone over to this panel first and then this panel. And that's the way you should too. So Gordon fires. Then it's bang, 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 bang. And sorry, with my inept iPad navigating skills of the comic panels, they all come out, Jim, oh my God. And Jim's being held hostage by Azrael. Tell Barbara I love her. and I couldn't be more... Damn it. Sorry, I'm a failure. I couldn't be more proud. And then up from a sniper's nest above, we see some of Azrael's minions with assault weapons just raining down fire. So all the cops are now suppressed. They're hiding. And, this is a cool shot right here, this panel with Bullock standing behind a pole, like a skinny little pole to use as cover, and he's just shooting. I don't know why I find that hilarious, but it's like absurd. And absurdity can be funny sometimes. Reminds me of that scene. I don't know if you remember the movie True Lies, one of my favorite movies of all time, True Lies, where Tom Arnold's character is getting like shot at. And he's like standing behind like a telephone pole. And he's like, oh, then he comes out and then he's like starts checking. Anyways, you remember that. If you remember the scene, you know it's funny. If you don't remember the scene, you're just like, shut up, Ash. So we see the bullet fire on the ground, and Azrael's looks like he's trying to, he's not trying to make an escape. He's sitting there holding Gordon. It's very small. He's holding Gordon up against the rails at the edge of the building. And he looks down, and Gordon's coughing. Who are you? I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. And his sword just catches fire. Whoosh. And you're like, oh, tell the devil that Azrael sent you. And he just drives it through Gordon's chest. And you're just, if you weren't prepared for this, this is a pretty oh shit moment. And if you think like, oh, well, what's going to happen? Is Gordon going to be able to come back from this? Fire. And he starts catching fire, but he pulls out his gun, and then you see the looks of his friends' faces, Montoya, Bullock, Thomas, that sense of, oh, shit. But meanwhile, the fire is still coming from above, keeping them down. They can't get to their friends. Bada. Bullock gets hit. Cigarette goes down. But Bullock wasn't the one smoking. Cigarette's fallen. Gordon gets off a shot, and Azrael tosses him over the top of the building, and he falls and crash. And Gordon lies in a pool of blood. The end. And that is the end of issue 3 of White Knight, The Curse of the White Knight. Extremely impactful. Good action, great drama, great character building, awesome mythology. This is everything you could ask for in a comic and more. I'm telling you, this Sean Gordon Murphy is the most exciting comic book artist for me in 20 plus years. This is fantastic. Look at these pencils for the upcoming issue. His illustration is just, it's got a weird style that might throw people off at first, but wow, his ability to just capture a panel, to capture your interest, his composition of how he sets up a shot. We can see here, Barbara Gordon is not messing around. She is pissed. Her father is dead. She's taken a Batmobile. Looks like Bullock's going to confront her. We don't have any dialogue balloons. We don't know what's going to happen. But here's a great example of visual storytelling, sequential art. Can you tell the story? Can you understand the story without having it to be told to you in dialogue or narrative balloons or whatever? Batman's now chasing. Looks like Nightwing's on the communicator, communicating. It looks like some GPS coordinates here. Batman's obviously chasing after Barbara. And look at this great shot here of Gotham. I just love Gotham as a character. And to see Murphy capture it, it's important for these shots like this to remind us, like, hey, don't forget Gotham. Not that we would forget Gotham, but it's this constant reminder that it's important to see this. And this is one of the things we love about Batman comics. And this Bat cycle, I love God, I just love the composition here and the way his cloak, Batman's cape or whatever, flares out like that. It just looks so freaking awesome. And then we see a vehicle, which is, if we look closely, is the Tumbler Batmobile that Barbara Gordon stole. She's crashed into another car and drove it off a cliff. Boom, crash. And then we see that looks like Azrael, coming out of the wreckage. And there's a shadow, a bat shadow. What is it? Oh, it's a different bat shadow. It's Barbara. She is furious. This is Fury and what it looks like. She's going to kill him. But then Batman wraps around the barrel of the gun. She's about to pull the trigger and yanks it away. And the gun's firing automatically. And just in the nick of time saves Azrael's life. But more importantly, saves Barbara from going down the road that he could have gone down, when his parents were killed. And look at the look on here in Batman's face. I have a feeling this is just a rough. This will be cleaned up for the final, but it's, that look. You can tell the intention here is the look of just like concern for Barbara. And that's all we get as a preview. And here's the alternate cover, the B cover for the book, and it serves as a great just, memento of Jim Gordon. It sucks. Like, I cannot believe he killed Alfred, and now he's killed Gordon. You couldn't do this in normal comics. You couldn't tell this story. People would just be pissed. I'm already still pissed that Alfred is dead. He is quintessential to the Batman character. You have to have Alfred, right? You can't have a Justice League without Superman. You can't have a Batman without Alfred. He's necessary. But this is like a self-contained story, so you can. Man, but it hits you in the feels. And I love this cover here. Here is the trade. If you haven't read White Knight, you can get it. It's like $12. This trade is like $12 on Amazon. You can get like 1 or 2 day delivery, depending on where you live. Get this. If you haven't read it, get it. Get it. DC Black Label. There's the credits. There's the final page. And that's all there is. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope that you enjoyed listening to my sweet baritone voice lull you into a sense of, I don't know what the hell I'm saying here, but hopefully you enjoyed talking about comics. That's why I do this channel. I love talking about comics, and this is a comic I'm extremely passionate about. I love it so much. This is a 5-star comic through and through. When I got back into comics, I looked at what was the industry, and I was like, there's nothing in the past 20 years that we're going to look at the way we look at comics from the 20th century, from the 90s and things, or the 80s. What's the Watchmen of today, the Dark Knight Returns of today, the Marvels of today? Think of any great comic books that just stand the test of time. The Infinity Gauntlet, Kingdom Come. There's so many that I can't even put them all. Like I'm just struggling to think of things that come off the top of my head. But these all-time classic comics, like, there's nothing. That was what I used to think, and then I read White Knight, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be 20 years from now. People are gonna talk about this book. This is going to be an influential book. Mark my words. Murphyverse may be fake, but the stuff that's in this book, I believe future creators are going to implement in the ongoing continuity. It's just that good. So I think if you read it, you're going to come to the same terms as I do. If you have a different perspective, though, not every comic is taken the same way. Put your comments below. Tell me why I'm wrong. I don't want to argue with anyone. If you don't like the book, I feel sad that you don't, because it's really worth loving. There's just people that don't like Dark Knight Returns. I can't fathom it. People don't like Watchmen. Oh, whatever. To each their own. But hopefully you do get what I get out of it, because that way you'll get to enjoy something that I feel is truly special. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, join the conversation, and find comics. If it's not this book, find a comic that you love as much as I love this book. We that's what we're here for. It's why we spend our money. Thanks a lot.